Okay, I think Andrew's asked a question, but I'll ask it a different way. The first one will be: are you looking back at people's gameplay in order to select them, or is just purely on the qualifiers game? And if you're looking back at the gameplay, then Andrew's question comes in to say, how far back are you looking, so that we're ensuring that not bot accounts are being used for the assessments?
Yeah, we look, and especially the coach league, we looked at for in the past, I can say on 2 or 3 years from the accounts given by the player. And we also work on this with the publisher, with the help of EWCF. We work on with the publisher to know if the accounts are to be sure that the accounts are
legitimate.
not
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
always legitimate, always. And as I said, the coach will be the only one to decide if a player is also good, because you can have I took again this Valorant example. We can be immortal on Valorant, but you don't have the sufficient skills to be on the team.
Yeah.
So this is not only about how far you play, how many times you play, and how your level is high. It's also on what you have, what type of guy you are when you play in the team, because you can be used to play with other people in other club, but this is a national selection. Some people are this is the same in every sports. You can be very good in club and not so good in nation.
No. That's interesting. So again, it brings up this thing about Africa, access for Africans, because if we don't have access to the if you don't have legitimate access to these consoles, legitimate access to these accounts, to these servers, how can we provide the 3 years records that want to use as standards for checking against our levels? So again, it's a point to prove to the publishers, a point to prove to the game developers that, look, we can provide this, but we cannot ascertain that these are legitimate records, because you've not given them legitimate access to use your system to be able to provide a record. You can't tie our hands behind us and expect us to run the same race that everyone else is running freely, that kind of thing. But that makes sense. It's brought a lot of things. I mean, I'll take Andrew's colleague question again. He says, very important point: soft skill and emotional intelligence. Is that considered in your selection? Because we've seen people's attitudes when they travel, and we see people's attitude when they are frustrated or when they are not able to manage, teamwork. Are you looking into soft skills as well, and what kind of soft skills?
Yeah, I think I'm not the coach, because this is all coach must know how to select people, and then know how to check the player in using the tryouts to push forward the player, and know if they can handle some big issues, and they can handle very as I say,
stressful moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I can.
I mean, obviously they're traveling away from home.
Also, I always say I say to all my coach, the coach I select, I say that we don't want some people with big ego.
Yeah.
We just want some people we can melt into a group and be one.
Yeah.
Because it's important for a team. So we all have ego, but you must know how to get to have your ego inside of you and not outside. Because you can be good, you can be very good, but you are not alone. You can win alone. You are in the team.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Even Messi didn't win every of these league, Champions League, the World Cup, etc. alone.
No, it was part of it.
You can that sounds great. You can be very good, but you must know that you are in the team, and the most important thing is the team.
No, that is beautiful. That's great. I mean, I appreciate your time, so I'll try and put some few questions to you. So one of the things that Esports Africa News is doing is to try and track and follow and support all of the national team manager, national team partners. And one of the projects is to get document all this process. So we've invited my friend Franklin is here today, listening in. But Franklin and Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and Kenya. That you sign up to providing us content along your journey, so that we can collect all this content for the documentary at the end of the year. When you're doing your selection, when you're talking to your people, doesn't have to be long, 5-10 minutes, horizontal videos about you to. And please feel free to speak local languages. Don't use just English. I mean, I should
Okay.
have spoken to you first, that every time I ask a question you can speak French, because we want to use our local language and try and make sure we share our culture in everything we do. So we want to see us in a natural place. So I'll
Okay.
encourage you to be with us, come with us on this journey, and help us put up something come December that will showcase what Africa has been able to do.
Okay. No problem.
No, that's great. That's great. And then in the last few y- yes, I will ask one question first. Yeah, Andrew, if you're ready, you can come up and ask the question. So also for Esports Africa News, the thing is, we're not seeing a lot of African content out here. I've worked with you in the past and in so many scenarios, and you've supported the team traveling to Ivory Coast from Ghana in so many scenarios, which we really appreciate. People like you, we want to also support you. We want to talk a lot more about the things you do, the ones that people don't see, so that people can, in the West or in other African countries, can then also be interested in your competitions, or interested in the stuff you do and collaborate with you. So I'll encourage you to engage with us more, especially this half year or 3.5 3/4 of the year remaining, so we can build something bigger for Africa. I'll let Andrew come in.
Thank you, Gabriel. John Philippe, it's a pleasure to have a conversation with you. A little bit about me. I left Atlanta, Georgia to move back to Kenya to architect esports to make it investable for the continent. And I was curious to understand how, even past or post this event, how are you positioning esports clubs, organizations to be profitable? I will let you know from what I've seen as a gap in Kenya is the sustainable development goals. A good example, the first company I'm trying to go to is NCBA, that has said they'll plant 70 million trees by the end of 2030. But for the country to get carbon credits, those trees need to be physically verified at 30, 90, and 365 days. I think esports clubs will be the best clubs and organizations want to create this hyper casual games around sustainable development goals, and then do these activities so they can go to these corporates and ask for their corporate social responsibility as funding. So I wanted to put that out there, but I was also interested to see what are your thoughts on how you are looking to make it investable post this.
Okay. First of all, we don't have any club right now in Ivory Coast. So but it's on the track, because we are working with communities and try to convince them to show them how important it is to have some club, even small, but it's important to have some club, because without club we can have some league, we can have national competition, national
Mm,
pro competition. So if we want to be pro, if the player want to be pro, they must be part of the club. So we need some clubs. So we are working right now with many people, and even with the sports club,
mm,
existing football, basketball, handball, esport in their club, and
yeah.
to have some real club in esport pro club in Ivory Coast. So this is on the way, and we hope that we will be able to have national pro competition alongside all these game title. I I said before. So Mobile Legend, EFC, etc. When working with the actual club, the existing club in sports, so in football, basketball, etc., and some new purely esport club. So we are working on it. So right now we don't know how to I don't know how to answer to your question because we don't have any sport club or real club investing in in this. It's a good initiative for sustainable, but right now we don't have many club. We don't have any club. We are working on it. Some are right now they are trying to have all authorization for the government, so to be created, etc. So we are working for this for 2027 season,
Okay.
our first pro season.
Awesome. So I'd like to focus on the younger side so we can get them in early, and I focus on Rocket League. So
Yeah.
if you need some help through Gabriel, I'll be happy to share the documentation as we create our clubs. We are actually now, just like yourself in Kenya, we only have 3 or 4 of them, but they're also not properly structured. But the good thing is that the parliament has passed a law that is in the pipeline. It's Kenya Sports Bill 2026 that will help universities to properly organize themselves. And I think Kenya is creating a roadmap for other African countries to be able to see how this gets executed. So as we document this process and the bill comes through, I'd be happy to share that information. I'm sure you're in touch with Ronnie. That will also help share how private companies are working with government to execute this.
Okay, thank you. To be you talk about university. I must precise that we you get a partnership with the national office for university and school sports. And there's esports in the official competition. Esports is a official part of this competition. So
That's
we have
interesting.
esports in university and school sports.
That's really interesting. That's really great. No, that is really good, and I appreciate your time and you making time over the period to speak to us. And wish you all the best going forward.
Thank
We'll
you.
continue to engage with you and make sure we're telling the story from Africa, as we always say. Thanks, Jean Philippe.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Andrew.
Andrews.
Thanks, Franklin, on the other side from Cameroon. Have a good
Okay.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bye.
I was
Yes.
just chilling and enjoying what you guys were
Le
saying.
continent.
Jean Philippe is my guy, so whenever I
Yeah.
go
Le
somewhere, I have to
continent.
stick around to see what's going on.
No, that's great. I saw you come on, and I'm glad you did. Thank you so much for listening and always able to contribute.
Yeah, just one thing, quick question for
Yes.
Jean Philippe. You said something about players having the right to register by themselves and being able, and the coaches being the one to decide based on their level of skill. So, did you create like a platform for that already, or are we still waiting to use the platform for ENC? Because you said something, I was like, maybe there's something I missed somewhere.
No. This is just a Google form. It's just a Google form.
Okay.
We just register via
No.
Google form, and we have to say if you want to participate in chess or Valorant or League of Legends and or Rocket Leagues. You just fill the form, and we after you join the Discord, and every player can be involved in the game they want. So simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And as
Thank you.
I said, the players from Ivory Coast and I also think from Cameroon come from around the world. So we can say that only everyone in Ivory Coast can participate. So it's open to everyone. You just have to fill the form, and we have your coordinate. We have your Discord ID, etc. And we add you on the Discord server. And after, the coach will contact you and have you and try out and say, okay, you are good, you can go because the deadline for submitting the roster April 13 is April 13. So we must have all our roster in all game title by April 13. So we are working right now with the coaches to have the good guys, the right player, the right place. We don't have so many times, only 20 days to have the good roster.
Do you do nationality check? Sorry, Franklin.
Yeah.
Do you do nationality check on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Franklin. You
Yeah, because I think you might need to get your birth certificate in there or something that proves that you're actually a national. No, my worry was about the fact that you remember that there are some game titles that ENC said that the players would directly register onto the platform. So my worry about that might be the fact that the solo games that do not necessarily have official coaches from ENC.
Yeah.
If we put them under such conditions, and then it got to a point where they have to first of all be a pre-selection to weed out the very low performing players, they might find it a little bit biased that they didn't get the chance to access the actual general or international platform that was meant for everybody to register. That's just my fear about it.
Yeah, but it's only for solo title, I think, and in Apex. But it's open qualifier regarding the solo titles and Apex title. It's an open qualifier. So I think that qualify, you must be very, very good because it's really open. All the countries in Africa will have to participate. So if you are not very good, you can, for example, on Street Fighter 6, we will have to fight against some people like Hurricane or HSN, maybe the guy from Algeria, I forgot the name, but Freezer in Algeria, in Morocco. So there's some big guys in Street Fighter 6, and if you are not very good, you can be qualified. So I think that this will be a national a natural selection, like in the jungle.
Yeah.
Only the best will survive. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
the strongest will survive.
Okay, I get the perspective from whence you're coming. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. One quick question. Hurricane will play on Street Fighter 6 for Cameroon?
He'll play on both Fatal Fury and Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Same as Ashton.
Damn.
But the thing is, every country will have a team going. So the good thing is that Africa has got a wider base and will have more African countries qualifying for this.
Well, maybe for some titles, but for some others, we are going to be very, very disadvantaged because the server problems.
You mentioned it last time as well that the server problem is going to be an issue.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of African countries are beginning to write petitions about how the regions have been redistributed.
Yeah.
And Jean-Philippe raised it up actually in an ENT meeting the other day, which was a very good point that led to the creation of an all-African ENC forum now for us to try to find solutions, not just complain, but to find solutions on how we can make this better for the Africans.
No, I like that. A Pan-African group. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, something interesting, especially for East Africa, when I relocated to Kenya, one of the things that shocked me was that there's an East African national anthem, right? Yeah, I know. I was shocked. So I have been cracking my head saying, why is there an opportunity to submit an East African player? Not a Kenyan, a Tanzanian, Ugandan, but an East African player. And I think that's where I'm trying to position corporates. That's a gap that no one is looking at.
I mean, this Nations Cup is there are a lot of lessons to be learned, and that's why it's important that we don't just drive through it without recording. That's one thing we lack in Africa: making records and reviewing what the process is to be able to be better. That's why we're looking to work with you guys to say, hey, whatever you're doing, let's try and get videos of them. They might not necessarily be all the tantrum parts. It's just how have you done it? You know, like your meetings you've had with your coaches. How have you done it? The meetings you've had with your managers. How have you done it? I think have you both countries got national country participation or just team managers?
No, we just got team managers.
Team manager.
Team managers.
Managers, yeah.
Yeah, so team managers for both of you. So again, the challenge of just having your team manager and we learn from Nigeria and I think Egypt the benefit of having Senegal, a national partner. You know, we need to learn all these lessons. These are the kind of stories I like to hear from you guys to say, hey, if we had a national country qualifier, then it means that my work will be divided into this and that, and that it will give us a better opportunity. Whereas then we'll get it from these other guys to say, hey, because we've got this, we're able to do this better, more efficiently, more wider. You know, we need to learn all these things. The thing about the server, the thing about the Pan-African group, we just need to have little conversations about these so that when we are putting together a documentary or we're reviewing it at the end of the year, we say, right, these are the lessons we've learned and this is how we can do it better for the next years or the generations to come.
Yeah.
That's the big.
Because
That's the
next
problem.
edition is 2028.
Yeah. That's the problem that people like Jean-Philippe and I we're going to have because we're just team managers, but we're expected to deliver the same kind of results that all the other guys having all the support. I even see some people are supported by some agencies and stuff, which is good for them. But we're all, at the end of the day, supposed to have the same results. So it makes our work a little bit more tedious. And but hey, I mean, we are gladiators in a battlefield. So we're going to try to do this.
We'll try and support, especially with your publicity. Wherever I see it, obviously, we make sure we spotlight, we highlight, we repost and share so that you guys can have the best visibility. And I think I'm just going to do a post about diaspora Africans to contact these nations about their esports events, just so we can see if we can get some diaspora Africans to come around, you know, to your country. So it'll be great to do that.
No, that'll be wonderful. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
And just before we go, just to add to something Andrew said a little bit earlier on there about having an all East African team, which I think this will transcend. Jean-Philippe will not agree with me on this, but I think this is something that will transcend into the digital space. Because for so long, just to go out of context, for so long, the digital movement has had a couple of wildcards and direct invites for a couple of countries outside of Africa. But Africa has the greatest number of digital members in the world. But Africa has never gotten a direct invite. Last year, I proposed to do an all-African team to get a direct invite for digital football, but they refused. So it brought my mind back to that. And I think that this is a platform that we can also use to bring that back on the table to say, guys, we need this to happen. Because in terms of technology, we are a little bit on the disadvantage side in terms of even our pitches, the level of players that we have in terms of their professionalism and stuff. So if we get an all-African team, it will mean getting the best from each of the selected countries that can represent Africa and really give us some kind of glory. So I know that you are working with those guys. So when you see this come up, you guys should help push it.
Absolutely. Well, we will push it. We will push agenda as well, directly, so that it propels your side. Definitely, all African teams. Yeah, no, definitely. I will go with you on that one. Definitely. So no, thank you so much for your time, and I will speak to you again, Franklin, on that subject because we've got some time booked for that interview.
Yeah.
So I'll speak to you again.
Okay.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Jean-Philippe. Thanks for your time. Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Cheers.
Bye.